Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome in to the new people, the first time viewers. Welcome in. What's up? Welcome back to the guys and the gals that come every Thursday. I'm happy to have you guys here. This is your first time here at this channel. Welcome in. I am your host, Four Seasons, and this is the Four Seasons with Four Seasons podcast. Um, this is a space where we have curated, not by just myself, but all of us have curated for us to be open, honest, and vulnerable surrounding the topics of mental health, relationships, self-esteem, goal setting and goal achieving, and accountability. So we welcome you guys into this space. So what we're going to start doing is our check-in. So as the question that is pinned right now, how are we feeling right now? What is on you guys' mind? Leo Wichi, what's up? What's up, Miss Vanessa? How you doing? Luigi says, running back and forth. I'm good, bro. Looking at the better side of life. Come on. I love that. How about you? I am blessed. I am happy to be here, to still be here, to be able to show up every Thursday for you guys. Not just for you guys, for myself. I'm showing up for myself as well. God allowing me to be here, to be present mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, right? I just feel really good. I feel really good and I'm thankful and I'm blessed to be here. What's going on? I am, so just some real talk. I am dealing with an ingrown toenail and it has been, my goodness, it has been a painful experience. But I'm doing something like I talked about was reframing last season for season 2 of the podcast. And I'm reframing it. I am thanking God that I still have a foot, that I'm able to feel this pain. It's always going to be temporary, right? But it is so painful right now. And I'm doing little home remedies to, you know, um, bypass the pain or at least dull the pain. And some things are working. But when I say I'm just thankful that I have a foot, that I'm able to feel this because I could not have a foot. My toe could be gone. I'm just thankful for that. Miss Vanessa says, I'm doing amazing as well. Not gonna lie. I'm on a bit of a high today. Come on, say hi. Let's go. A natural one. I'm here for it. Um, yeah. So I'm right there right now. Say you have a foot. Yes, yes. What's goody? I'm on COD with homies, so I couldn't have. Oh, okay. I see that. But yes, I am thankful and happy to be here with you guys today. Um, I'm also on the third and final week of my church fast right now. And when I tell you, it has been rather difficult, but I've been consistent. I've been pushing through some of my fleshly ways that I'm wanting to partake in, right? This week, since it's the last week, it's going to be the most crucial, I think. Specifically, it being solely liquid diet that we're on, not diet, liquid fast. So drinking a lot of water. And also, I have been juicing, and this is a little bit of my juice that I had left today that I made. This one was watermelon, apples, limes, carrots, cucumber, a little bit of ginger, cilantro. Um, I think that's it. And then I put a little cayenne pepper at not in the juice mixer as it mixes, but at in every glass I put like a pinch of cayenne. I've read that that helps, so I did that. It's really good. I'm not gonna lie, my juice is good. I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised because I put in the effort and I knew what I was doing. But it's really good, and I'm looking forward to getting through this last week of this fast. When I tell y'all, I have not had meat, bread, or sweets since what the 6th of this month, and it has been rough. It has been rough, but y'all, I have lost so much weight just based off of fasting. Not even just like working out or exercising, but just fasting, y'all. I'm almost, and I'm getting there. I'm going to get there. I'm almost 20 pounds down in less than a month. And y'all, it's been amazing. It's been amazing. And I'm just so thankful. But yes, that's where I'm at right now. That is exactly where I'm at right now. Let us move into our check-in. The what we have here, a little exercise called the line dynamic, right? And what that does is it's a indication, a visual representation of where we're at right now, you know? So let me go ahead and pull that up for y'all. Let's see. All right, perfect. Okay, and where I'm at on the thing is perfect. The box of the camera is right. Okay, perfect. Leah, she says, "What are you doing nice? You come off that fast. And are you looking to maintain some of the things you're doing?" I am definitely looking to maintain some of the things that I'm doing. I'm looking, so I've added other things outside of what the church has dedicated to the fast to. So I have added masturbation and porn. I've added cursing. And there was another thing that I added that I keep forgetting. But those two main things. Oh, I have weed smoking. Yes, it's weed smoking. Um, I am looking to, and so interesting. My pastor was talking about since we're finishing up the fast, what are some things we're going to work on to leave with the fast, you know, to continue on. And for me, one of the biggest things is cursing. I have always cursed like a sailor once I was able to, you know. And I've noticed that the effort in the fast that I'm doing for this right now has gotten me to a point where I'm really thinking about what I'm saying before I speak, right? And so I catch myself, a cuss word may slip, but I quickly change it to something else, right? I kind of find a way to replace that word. And I also have noticed that I slow down sometimes when I'm speaking or when I'm like not conscious or when I'm just in a conversation just to be wary of what I'm saying, you know? And when I'm thinking about it now, it's not even just curse words. It's anything that's negative, anything that's, you know, not designed to uplift, right? I have really put in effort to be conscious of those things that are coming out of my mouth. And so if I believe, not I believe, I am going to take this on after the fast. Now, when it comes to weed and masturbation and porn, you know, I'm gonna work on those as we go along, you know. But I'm definitely taking a step in the right direction to make sure I am going to limit those things as much as I can. And you know, just being consistent with the 6 a.m. prayer calls that I have with my church. We have 6 a.m. prayer calls and 6 p.m. prayer calls, and I've been consistent with those. And when I tell y'all, those have helped me, and I'm learning that during this fast, those things help me stay accountable. Right? I'm around people who are doing the same thing, you know, as me, and putting in the same amount of effort. You know, sometimes we slip and fall, but we get back on that horse, right? And I'm just very thankful that I'm able to be so consistent with something that I have struggled with a large portion of my life, right? So it feels good. It feels good. Physically, you know, if I pass out on camera, blame it on the food, the lack of food, but I'm here. I'm here and I'm happy. So let's get into the line dynamic. So, guys, if this is your first time here, this is a check-in that we do before the meat and potatoes of the podcast, right? And so, oh, let me move my camera because it's not in the right place. There we go. So, this line dynamic is something that we curated here. Shout out to Leo Wichi for helping me make this. But the line dynamic is just a way for us to put words or visualize where we're at mentally, right? So, as we guys can see above the line, all these happy, energetic, positive emojis, those represent where how we feel when we are above the line. So, being above the line is something I believe we try to aim for as much as we can. When you're above the line, things are great. Things are you're in a good mindset. And maybe sometimes being so far above the line, you're able to give some of that energy, some of that umph to people who are not above the line with you, right? Those that may be on the line or even below it, right? And so for me, being above the line is something that I aim to be, you know, I aim to be at. So yeah, so our second tier is being on the line. And as the emojis show, it's just okay. Being on the line just means you're okay. There's a constant, you're surviving, And unfortunately, in this day and age, being on the line seems to be something for a lot of people that's the constant or that's the highest that they can reach, right? For me, and sometimes in my life, being on the line is something that I can only muster up. I couldn't get to being above the line. So when we're just here, when there's nothing horribly bad going on or nothing tremendously amazing, right, happening, that means we're on the line. And being on the line is okay. Being content is okay, and like I said, sometimes that's all we really can muster up at certain points in our life. And last but definitely not least is being below the line. And as the emojis show, that's not a good thing, right? Sometimes when we're below the line, we can't see the positive outcome. We can't see the other side of the situation, right? And for me, being below the line, sometimes it allows me to just sit in my stuff, right? Sit in whatever it is that I'm dealing with. And as I'm sitting in, I'm not just stewing it. I'm not just, spiraling, but being below the line and when I'm sitting in it allows me to take a real life look at how did I get here? What did I contribute to me being below the line? And how I never want to be this low again, right? And so after I sit in my mess, and I'm ready to get past whatever icky, yucky feeling that I'm in at that moment, I reach out to my support system, right? And your support system could look vastly different than my support system, but my support system consists of my family, my friends, my therapist, so professional help, and my spiritual support system, which is God, obviously, my church family, and my church leaders, right? And so when I'm finally at a point mentally where I'm ready to get out of whatever funk that I'm in, right? I reach out to all of those things at once because I know something is going to get me umph to at least get me closer to the line than actually being below the line, right? So, with that being said, where are we at today on the line? I'm going to give you guys a few moments to figure that out, type that out, get your thoughts together, and then we will continue on. All right, I am back. I just had to chug the rest of that juice because I was just babysitting at that point. So I got my water, refresh that. So we're good. We're good. So, yes, where are we at on the line today? For me, I am very, very, very much above the line. I am just so thankful. I've just been so thankful at how God has shown up in my life. I'm thankful that He's allowed me to continue to be consistent with my podcast and being present. I am thankful for all the, little things. I'm thankful that I have a place of my own. I'm thankful that I have electricity and internet. I'm thankful that I have a voice to speak and a mind that works. I'm just very much thankful right now. And because of that, I am very much above the line. So I am all of these ecstatic emojis. I don't have sunglasses on, but I got regular glasses, but I'm good. I'm happy and I'm thankful. So yes, I'm very much above the line today. Leah, what she says, I'm above. How so far? Don't care. I'm feeling icky. Okay. Okay. So yeah, we gonna get those icky feelings out. But I guess for me is what I'm realizing is just being thankful of all the icky stuff, right? Of being able to go through these things because we know we're gonna get through it on the other side. So what we're going through is something that I'm thankful for, right? But I get it, I get it, and I'm thankful that you're here tonight to be present and to share what you're going through, brother. I appreciate it that. So that I think that's where we're at for our line dynamic. What's good, a wise dream? Thank you for coming in, my brother. I hope you're doing well on this day, evening, or afternoon, wherever time it is, wherever you're at. We just finished our line dynamics, so we're going to move into the word of the week. Let's do. Bam! The word of the week is start. So, with that being said, what are you guys' first thoughts when you see or hear the word start? Again, with the line dynamic, I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to gather your thoughts, put them in the chat, and then we can go ahead and discuss some of our similar thoughts, first thoughts when it comes to the word start. So, yes, go ahead and get that going, y'all. All right, y'all. What are our first thoughts? So, for me, first thing that comes to mind when I see or hear the word start, I think of, well, there's quite a few things I think of. So I think of starting a car. That's one of the first things I do think of. I think of beginning something that start the beginning of something. I think of a last step in the process of mentally preparing. So last week we talked, the word of the week was ready, right? So we talked a lot about preparation, and I think the last step of something is actually starting it after you're preparing it. The last step is doing. So I think of that. I think of a push to start car. I think of that. I think of racing. I also think of Nike, their slogan, just do it. Just do it. That's what I think of. So those are my first thoughts when I see or hear the word start. A wise dream says racing, booting up a game. Okay, okay. Getting ready to do a task. I love it. I love it. Liuichi says the beginning of something, the end. To go, old game menu. Say that. Say that. Motion and the starting line. Um, so both you and a wise got me thinking of games, right? And so when we press start, usually it stops the game or pauses it, right? But that's so interesting how what start is supposed to be or it's supposed to mean, which means to go, right? Or to, we'll get into the definition here in a little bit. But for gaming, pressing start means to stop, it means to take a moment, it means to, you know, pause or break into whatever action is happening. So that's so interesting how that dynamic is, right? So with that being said, let's move on to the definition. Courtesy of Merriam-Webster and them niggas, the definition of start means to come into being, activity or operation, as well as to have a particular beginning, to begin at a specified place or in a specified way. So I think we're all kind of in the same notion of what our first thoughts and the actual definition of start is. So let us get into the meat and potatoes of tonight's word of the week. Let me adjust some stuff. Adjust. All right. So, with the word of the week being start, we also have to talk about the theme of the month. So, the theme of the month this month is January. The theme is the start of something new. So, a lot of our topics, every topic that we've had this month, is a reflection of what this theme of the month is, right? And so, as we move in to the meat, like I said, the meat and potatoes of the topic, we're going to look at the word start and four different seasons, if you will, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, right? So let us move into season one, which is mentally. So when I think of that, I think start is the ability to begin mentally, right? Moving from the preparation stage that we talked about last week and moving straight into the implementation stage. For me, I've always had issues starting things because I would always overthink what is going on, right? I would always overthink if I'm in the right position, if things are happening at the right time, if everything is lined up perfectly, and nothing in life is perfect, right? It's just how life is. So knowing that for me, and this is where I'm at, knowing that whatever I'm doing, anything that I'm doing, it may not be perfect, but it's a step in the direction that I want to go. I have a goal, I have something that I want to accomplish or achieve, and I see that, right? And so my next step, the start of that, is going to be in that direction. And regardless if I fall and bust my face, hit my head, fall, trip, or whatever, I know that regardless of all of those mishaps, I am putting in the effort to go in the direction of something that I want to achieve and want to accomplish. So, regardless of all the missteps that happen, and I know they're going to happen, and that's something where I'm at in my adult life is knowing that things are going to mess up. Things are not going to be in alignment all the time with how we want it to be. But as long as we're moving in the direction of where we want to go, what we see for ourselves, what God is destined for us, then that's all that matters. The falls and the steps are just something that's going to happen that we're going to learn from, right? We're not going to make the same mistakes that we did in the beginning that's going to happen in the end, right? So that's what I think of. I also think that I also believe that knowing that failure happens, but not the end result of my efforts, I'm able to get back up again. Failure is going to happen. Failure is not final. That's something I've seen consistently over the past month is failure is not final. And so every failure we make is a chance for us to learn from that and push forward through that. Things are temporary. Nothing's going to last forever. So that is where I am in season 1, which is mentally starting, right? Moving into season 2, which is the physical season, physically starting, taking the steps to improve my physical nature. After mentally starting, I believe physically starting is the next step. That's where action happens. You're mentally getting your mind right, your mental's right, and so now we take that action. Um One thing I realized that my mental has pushed my physical into doing is getting them for church. And when I tell y'all, my body for these past few weeks of getting ready and getting up to church, it's so hard for me to get out of bed, y'all. It is so hard. And I don't know if it's the devil trying to attack me or what's going on, but when I get out of bed, I feel like I have tons of weight on me, on my shoulders, on my arms, on my legs, feet. And so even walking out the bed and going to the shower seems like such a monstrous or monumental effort to put into doing it, y'all. And through that, because I know how important for me it is to go to church, to get the word, and to be around people who praise God like I do, or even differently, just being around people who recognize God, how about I say that, allows me to just feel better. And so as I'm getting up in the morning, like I said, I feel like all these weights are on me. When I tell y'all all I do until I am in the car on my way, and even then, I'm still praying to God and like, hey, keep me, protect me, clear my mind, because I don't know what it is that is trying to prevent me from doing things that I know I want to do, that I know are for the betterment of myself, right? And so, yeah, um, because my physical being seems to be so weak in the mornings as I get ready for church, my mental has to be there, right? My mental has to be the thing that pushes and kicks me to jumpstart and continue on when my body is like, nah, I don't want to. I want to stay in this bed. I want to stay wrapped up in these covers. I want to be warm. I can watch the live of the church. No, I can't do that. And so my mental is the start of push starting my physical. So we move from the physical season into our third season, which is emotional, being emotionally locked into what my emotions are saying or feeling. That's what the start, right? And so, what I've done and what I'm starting to do more and more and more is acknowledging my emotions. I am putting a name. We use the wheel of feeling, the feelings wheel here, to have a better understanding and be more specific in what it is we're feeling at that moment. And so I acknowledge my emotions. If I'm angry, if I'm sad, if I'm disappointed, if I'm depressed, if I'm all these things, I acknowledge them and I give them space to be. We are humans, we are not robots. So we have emotions, and sometimes controlling our emotions means acknowledging them and recognizing them before they get out of control. Because some people, me in my past, don't have not had proper emotional intelligence or know how to have that, right? Where I'm at now, I think I'm pretty good at expressing my emotions in a healthy way without it hindering or hurting myself or other people, right? Or at least trying to. Again, nobody's perfect. We're not perfect. But that's where I'm at. I am allowing my emotions to have an opportunity just to be, just to be. An example that I have here is being triggered by others. Um, but not allowing them to control how my day goes. I think we all can say we've had experience. Excuse me. I don't know. A little. I think that cayenne done crept up and said, "Hey, oh my God, it's on again." Yeah, that little pepper came in and said, "Hey, I'm here. I'm here." But as I was saying, I think we can all say we have been in experiences where people that we may not even know, you have never seen before, have been rude or nasty towards us in passing, right? And that little interaction can tick us off and offset our entire mindset for the rest of the day. We could run into somebody who doesn't hold the door open for us, or we hold the door open for somebody and they'll say thank you, or they just, are rude. Somebody yelling at you for taking a parking spot when parking spots are not. Um, Nobody has a name on a parking spot, right? But those little interactions, those little triggering situations can really spiral us to not only let the day go how that was orchestrated, but also put us in a mindset that we're going to give that same energy to somebody else who didn't deserve it. Because we didn't deserve what was, the rudeness that was given to us. So we just may be so peed off to a point where we give that to other people, you know? Where I'm at now, I can't do that. I can't afford to do that, especially me being around so many people that I care about. I'm not going to give them the energy that someone else gave me that wasn't for me, you know? And that's something that I'm learning is that those people or those interactions that we have, that energy wasn't for me. That was something you needed to release, but unfortunately, or maybe, okay, we're going to switch it. Fortunately, you gave it to somebody who wasn't going to give it back to somebody else. Your rudeness, your negative energy, that ickiness, you had that and you needed to get it out. And so you gave it to me. But because where I'm at in my emotional intelligence, how I feel about myself, I'm going to not, it's going to end with me. I'm going to drop it and continue on with my day and give out positivity. So, yes, you gave that to me because God knew that I wasn't going to give it to somebody else. Ooh, come on, come on. I'm feeling this today. I'm feeling this today. That negative energy that you had to get out because it was causing you so much strife, so much pain. You had to get that out and you gave it to somebody who was able to stop it right then and there. And so it's gone, you know? Wow. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I feel good about this. I feel good about this. And so where I'm at, I'm not allowing negativity or someone else's strife to really control how my day goes, right? And so as we move on to our fourth and final season, of the four seasons of the four seasons of understanding, we move into the spirituality season. So actively pursuing things spiritually. So for me, what I've started to do is letting God take the wheel. Hey, I'm just sitting in the passenger seat. God is leading my life now. I have no say on what's going on. I just listen to him and do what he tells me to do. And where I'm at right now, I'm happy. Um, my life is in his hands, and I trust that he'll guide me to where he needs me to be. Without a doubt, I know that where God needs me to be, I'm going to be on that path. And so I feel really happy. And in doing that, I would say um the effects of me actually doing this, I have so my anxiety is lessened severely. If I find myself starting to overthink, I'm like, you know what? Why am I overthinking? I'm gonna give it to God, because if there's nothing that I can do in the moment to change the situation, why am I harping on it? Why am I constantly giving it so much power in my mind, in my brain, and to do that, right? I give it to God, and then I move on to something that I know is in place for me, you know? And in doing that, I've started reading more of the word. And in doing that, I'm trying to get a better understanding of who's leading my life. And I think that's something I don't think, I believe that's something that we need to do. We need to do research on the people that are in our lives, the people that we listen to, the people that we spend a lot of time to see what's leading them, because we could be around people who are being led by something that does not align with us. And we wonder why we have so much strife or so much animosity or vitriol. I don't think vitriol is the right word. We have so much animosity and strife around these people, around these situations. And maybe it's because they're being led by something that does not align with us, right? Maybe their beliefs and morals are something so foreign to what we believe. And so, with me learning about God and reading the word, I'm getting to know who's leading my life, And I think that's what we need to do in everyday life with the people around us. Um, Also, in the vein of spirituality, I'm taking up space in my church, not to be seen, but to be closer to those who share the same love of God as I do. And the more and more I am active in the church, the less insecure I feel, right? And starting out, I'm very new to um being an adult in Christianity, right? I'm very new to that. And I am I've had insecurities, interacting with people, specifically, men in church. Um, but given my past, right? But the more I'm submerged in the church culture, especially my church, and being active and talking and interacting with people, the less anxiety I get. And I think I even told you guys here, like, I've had anxiety going to church thinking something's gonna happen, but like nobody's gonna church gonna fight me. And if they do, I got hands. But even through that, God comes first, and so God's gonna prevent me from throwing hands. But God's going to lead me how I need to be led, and so me going to church to worship Him, He ain't gonna let nothing happen to me, right? And so I've been doing a lot of that. I'm starting spiritually, right? What's up, love CPS and Jay? Good evening. I see you dancing on the tightrope. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, y'all. A wise dream says fighting in the church. Lord have mercy. Exactly. See, and that's where my mind would go. It's like, why would somebody want to nuck if you buck at the church? I've seen it happen before. I have not experienced that, but I know God's got me, so that's not even going to be a thing, right? All right, y'all. We have made it to the end of the podcast. We have made it to our wrap up, our closing wrap up. Just a big part of starting of the wrap up is just a recap of the topic. The word of the week is start, and we looked at it from a mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual standpoint, right? And so hopefully we're able to grasp that. A wise dream says insightful. Thank you. I hope it was. It was insightful for me too. Definitely. So what we do now is we talk about what I know for sure. Something that I know for sure from the beginning of the podcast episode to where we're at now, right? So I know for sure that for me, starting may be very hard for me to do, but I know that when I do it, it'll allow me to really push through the things that I want or go and attain the things that I want. Um, it's not perfect. I may slip, I may fall, I may fail, but it's not final. Failure is not final. And so, with that in mind, it allows me to keep going even when I fall. It allows me to continue to have my goal in my mindset and continue to pursue it. Yeah. So that's what I know for sure. Um, I also, with the start of the new year in progress, I've announced on the past episodes that I am opening a life coaching program called Through the Seasons. It's a small 4-week coaching experience for people who feel unseen, emotionally stuck, or between chapters and want a space to be heard, to find clarity. I have, I think, 2 more slots open for this trial of this 4 weeks just to see if it's working, if my program that I designed works. So if that's something you guys are interested in, you can go ahead. I'm doing exclamation coach in the chat. Go ahead and email me at fourseasons@gmail.com or send me a DM here to get more information on that coaching, right? Also, I have a co-working stream that I have every Saturday here on this channel at 11 a.m. EST. If that's something you're interested in, you can come and join us. It is a way for us to be accountable, to hold each other accountable, to complete goals, and have a sense of community. We have games, we do, we talk mess, but we also get things done. And the setup for that is in a Pomodori technique, right? And so what that means is we work for an allotted amount of time and then take a short break and then get back on track with that same amount of time that we worked on, right? And we tend to do 30 minutes of working, 10 minutes of break, and then 30 minutes of working, 10 minutes of break until we're done, right? Until we're done with whatever it is we need to get done, be it um, errands, chores around the house, meetings, bills, all those things. Come, get it done, put it in the chat, we get it done together. And you have a sense of community of people getting things done, and it just helps you feel like you're getting things done because you are. That's ultimately what we do. Um, Also, if the notifications don't go through like they should, go ahead and join the Discord, which I dropped in the channel as well. I mean, in the chat. The Discord is where you'll get notified every time I go live. You'll get notified when I upload to YouTube, and more coaching experiences and things coming soon for that too. So join the Discord, be a part of the Four Seasons community, if you will. And last but definitely not least, join the YouTube channel. All of the VODs from my Four Seasons with Four Seasons podcast will be uploaded there. We got shorts over there too, y'all. I'm working. I'm upgrading this season 3, y'all. So yeah, if you miss any VODs or want to, chat over there on the YouTube, go ahead and add me and subscribe to the YouTube. It's free. All of this stuff is free. Um, but yes, with that being said, thank you, thank you, thank you to the Four Seasons community. First and foremost, you guys show up and show out, and I'm so thankful for that. Shout outs to the followers, the lurkers, the subscribers, and everyone in between. Shout outs to the new people who've come in and just, who watch. I love y'all for that too. But with that being said, be good to yourselves and be good to everyone else, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.